Hello friends, welcome to yet another edition of our videos from LWS Academy. Things which will help you build up your OLQs, that is basically the officer-like qualities. Friends, today I am going to give you an overview of how you're going to build up your officer-like qualities, especially when you're preparing for the SSB. Now this is something which I'll be talking about now, a thing which will always help you in your life to build your personalities and also to ensure that your personality gets projected in the suitable way in the SSB and so that you are able to display all your qualities. Well, first and foremost, my dear friends, is to develop your awareness. Because if you see at every part of the SSB, whether it is your interview, whether you are speaking out your lecturates, you're taking part in the GTO group discussions, or even if you are speaking out your ideas in the kind of giving your ideas in the psychological tests, everywhere what comes out is your level of thinking, and your level of thinking is always affected by your awareness. So let me first talk about how to build up your awareness. Right friends, your awareness, if we see, can be divided into three major portions. One which concerns you and your world, that is where you belong to, how your schooling has been done, what kind of hobbies you have, what all games you play, and things which surround you and maybe your family and your friends. The next part which we will talk about in your awareness is the part where you should be aware of what is going on in your environment. And by our environment we mean what all is going on in your city, what all are the issues affecting the place, and thereafter we shall go into things which are the major happening kind of events or the major issues concerning our country, and thereafter our country and its neighbors, and how to cover the international aspects also. So this is about your awareness, friends. If you are able to put these in separate parts and start building it up slowly with covering each aspect. For example, let us talk about your personal things. Well, anyone who is well connected with his family will have good knowledge about your father, your mother, your siblings, and thereafter, as we widen your area of reach, your friends and your neighbors. So anyone who is a more aware, more social and more active person will have good information about all these things. When we talk about your family in terms of your awareness, if you are able to give depth or deep replies or more aware replies in your interviews, it will clearly show your bonding in your family level, which is your first group in your life. So therefore you must understand that when you are able to give comfortable and deep replies about connections within your families, it shows how you have been brought up, and it shows what is your level of culture, what is your level of social awareness. And therefore, it will definitely give a big booster to your personality when you speak in front of the interviewing officer. Now friends, again another beginning, when you talk about, say for example, you are to give replies about your schooling, your college, what all subjects you took. Everything matters over here. And why not be more aware of what all you have done in your schooling or in your college? There are simple questions. For example, somebody may ask you, when was your school founded? Or what was the motto of your school? Or maybe how many sections or classes were there? How many students used to study? Now, once you give a depth or a deep reply on this, when you are able to cover all the aspects without having difficulty in recalling, it would show definitely that you are well connected with your world and fully aware of it. Similarly, when now if we say that, well, we are knowledgeable about our own world, let us say, are we knowledgeable about our country? For example, our country's major aspects like agriculture, you have defense, you have industry, and so on, the economy. So if a candidate is able to cover a lecturate, let us say concerning the farm laws or the minimum support prices in agriculture or genetically modified crops, what does it show? It shows that you have been aware of how things are developing in your country, and therefore such things will help you cover topics in group discussion, will help you cover topics in your lecturing. Let us go further. Let us look at India and its neighbors. Now friends, when we concern India and its neighbors, each of these, for example, Indo-China relations, Indo-Pakistan relations, Indo-Sri Lanka, or let us say Indo-Bhutan and so on, all these kind of relations form a major part of our awareness on international aspects. And again, these topics are definitely going to feature in your lecturing and in your group discussions. Furthermore, if we go, friends, into international issues, such issues definitely crop up in the first part of the GD in group discussions. Such issues definitely crop up in your lecturate, and such may be also a question on international aspects coming in your interview. So therefore friends, from now on, channelize your efforts, channelize your interest, channelize your questions towards learning more about you, your family, what all you have done, how you have been educated, and your country, the country and its neighbors, and international aspects. Having done this and having worked on your awareness, friends, another very important part is your routine. Now friends, when I mean about routine is, it is not that all the time you should be working like a machine. But definitely as humans, if we are building up in our world, if we are growing up in our world, it also ensures that we learn and do our work in a more satisfying manner, and therefore that is where a routine helps in building your personality and ensuring that you are a very comfortable and satisfied person at the end of the day. So friends, why not have a routine? Well, some of you will say that you are attending coaching classes, or maybe you are doing many such things. Well, that is part of your routine, it's part of your learning. So have a time where you wake up, where you go for a morning run, build up your exercise, build up your physique, and also a time when you have your food in a comfortable manner, and how you dress yourself up, how you go about your learning every day, and thereafter in the evening spend your time while playing some games or meeting friends, etc. And thereafter, before you go off to sleep, how you build up your knowledge again and think about what you're going to do the next day. So whenever we have a routine, it involves a lot of planning. It involves you plan on the previous day what you're going to do on the next day. So have specific times for specific things. For example, your morning time either for studies or for building up your physical aspects and your physical health, and proper meal times and proper times of sleep. Well, when you have a routine, it helps ensure that you are not only healthy and wealthy in terms of your mind, it also helps you build up in terms of your overall personality development for your SSB interview. And these are questions about your routine which will be asked in the interview. I'm sure all of you will agree to that, especially those who've been once or twice to the SSB. Now, when we talk of the routine part, it is not only on your weekdays, it also concerns your weekends. And therefore, friends, during your holidays or maybe the weekend, many of us have some ideas which we want to complete. And therefore, let your weekend be the time when you can unwind comfortably with your hobby, with a book which you may like to read, with the kind of food you may like to eat. So even that has a pattern. So even that has a little routine. So even your weekend, the day when you relax, even that relaxation can be planned slightly, where it is always there to help you out, build up in terms of good health, a good and sound body and mind. Well, we have talked about the routine. Now friends, let us also talk about building ourselves up physically. SSB has its own physical aspects where it checks out your ability, your balance, your focus, your flexibility, etc. So, and more than anything else, your stamina, both mental and physical. So therefore it is very important, friends, to eat well, sleep well, and exercise well. Do have a routine where you inculcate things like skipping, push-ups, sit-ups, chin-ups, and also go for a run, maybe a long one and a short one on an alternating basis. So have an hour set aside for building up your physique and ensuring good health. Well, these are few things I wanted to cover, friends, today, so that you are able to build up in a much more sound and in a planned manner for your SSB. And remember all these things which you prepare, and whenever you prepare for SSB, it also ensures that your personality gets changed and you are a success wherever you go in life. Thank you, friends.